Start. For the purpose of invoking Section 29 of the Act, the borrower must have a liability to the corporation under an agreement. It must make a default in repayment of any loan or advance, etc. The corporation in such a situation shall inter alia have the right to take over the management or possession or both the industrial concerns. This power is in addition to the power of the right to transfer by way of lease or sale and realize the property pledged, mortgaged, hypothecated, or assigned to the corporation. The right to transfer by way of lease or sale, however, is not an independent right. Only in case of default, such a right can be exercised. We must keep in mind that the powers contained in two parts of Section 29 of the Act are separate and distinct. The power to take over the management is ordinarily exercised when the concern is an ongoing one. But when a power is conferred to sell the property unilaterally, the same must have a nexus with the mortgage property. The power to sell cannot be read in isolation. It can also realize the mortgage property, which would mean that when a property had been sold, only the mortgage property can be realized and not any other property which was not the subject matter of mortgage. What can be transferred by the mortgage, even in terms of the provisions of the Transfer of Property Act, is the property which was subject matter of mortgage and not any other. A power to take over the management or possession is a statutory power. As and when the debt is realized, the corporation would be bound to hand over the management or possession of the property, as the case may be, back to the industrial establishment for proper construction of the provisions of the Act. We may notice the provisions of Section 31 thereof. It provides for an additional remedy, whereas Section 29 confers a power to sell the property unilaterally. Section 31 provides inter alia for the same power only through the intervention of the court. Clause A of subsection 1 of Section 31 of the Act categorically states that the jurisdiction of the district judge can be invoked for order of sale of the mortgage or assigned property in favor of the corporation. Clause B thereof provides for transferring the management of this industrial concern. Clause A and C of Section 1 of Section 31 of the Act provide for additional remedies when an application is filed in terms of Section 31 of the Act. The procedures laid down in subsection 1A of Section 32 of the Act are required to be followed. A further additional remedy has been provided to a financial corporation in terms of Section 32G of the Act. We need not dilate on the interpretation of the aforementioned provision, as the same is now covered by a decision of this court in Karnataka State Financial Corporation (Supra), wherein it was held that while interpreting the provisions of a statute, the court employs different principles or canons. To interpret a statute in a reasonable manner, the court must place itself in the chair of a reasonable legislator author. The legislative intent, in our opinion, is manifest. The intention of the Parliament in enacting Sections 29 and 31 of the Act was not similar. Whereas Section 29 of the Act consists of the property of the industrial concern, Section 31 takes within its sweep both the property of the industrial concern and as that of the surety. None of the provisions control each other. The Parliament intended to provide an additional remedy for recovery of the amount in favor of the corporation by proceeding against a surety only in terms of Section 31 of the Act and not under Section 29 thereof.